The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Lady who walks around without being shady, who knows her values, who's gone through trials. Her smiles are captured from mouth to mouth. It's not the size of her thighs she worries about, but the pride she thrives to keep that drive. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. Ladies, can you feel me? That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist.
Hey, it is your girl Tasha, known to the world as the Tasha Carpenter, but everybody calls me your girl Tasha because when you hang with me, it is like you are hanging with your girl. And you guys know my favorite word is BAM, because I am always being authentically me. And I'm about to be real authentic up in this studio today, guys, because if y'all don't know, we're going to open up the screen to our marvelous guest here. We have the one, the only, the person who I think is really, really crazy, Mr. Kevin McClam, known as the hip-hop naturalist.
Hello. What's up, fam? Good to be here. Good to be here.
So, guys, I'm really, on edge right now because we're not the only two in the studio. There's actually 4 of us in the studio right now, but we're going to talk about that later on. I'm just really, really scared here, but that's okay. But, tell me, I want to get started with you to tell me about, as a youth, give me your background, your family, how you grew up, where you grew up, all that stuff, because I'm trying to understand how you transition from where you were then to where you are now.
All right, well, to make a long story short, I'm from Southeast Washington. I went to Our Lady Queen of Peace. I went to Catholic schools, but my neighborhood school was Anacostia. And then during the time that I grew up,
Anacostia.
It was in...
Okay.
Yeah, Anacostia. Anna, as they say now, Anna. Time throughout when I grew up in Southeast, in the mid-'80s, late 70s, it was a really, really bad area. And this was around the time when crack came out, and I remember I had lost a lot of friends to gun violence and people getting locked up and people selling drugs, and it just wasn't a good time for an inner city kid. Mm-hmm. So how I came from there to where I'm at now, well, this was pre-internet stuff. The only thing we had was National Geographic magazines. I remember getting the iconic yellow magazine, and I would often read it and look at the pictures, and I would look at the animals in the Serengeti and animals in Brazil, and I just imagine myself just being out there with them animals, and I used to read books and encyclopedias.
And how old were you then?
I was probably around 10.
Okay. And what was your parents doing while you was doing all this?
Well, my dad worked all the time, so I never really saw him because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I had 5 siblings. They thought that it was a little weird, but ironically, my mom was a little bit of a tomboy growing up, so she liked the idea of frogs and turtles. She don't like snakes. She still don't, as long as you're not putting them on her.
Uh-huh.
And so they thought it was a little weird, but they thought it was interesting because I had a different hobby, and it kept me off the street. I used to go to the zoo. Other guys around the neighborhood was into animals too. In fact, one of the first guys that I caught snakes with was a guy from Berry Farms. And out of these guys, man, you think they thugs, but they got the same likes and passions just like everybody else. A lot of these guys are just young men that are afraid. And so everybody had their outlets. Some people played basketball. I played a little football, but mainly I was just into my reptiles. I was just, a nerd in the hood.
Okay, so you're some of us just caught snakes together. I don't know about you. I know about it in I think Upper Marlboro where I live at. It's kind of like country or something. But how many snakes you seen in the hood over in Anaconda? Southeast used to be my stomping ground now.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Reggie Road, Martin Luther King, the little hole in the wall hamburger place. It was real sloppy when you ate it. And I've never seen those snakes.
Well, truth be told, there are more snakes in this city than you would think. Did you know in Rock Creek Park, they have king snakes, they have water snakes, they have decay snakes, they have green snakes, black rat snakes. In D.C. and in Southeast, in Fort DuPont Park, there are some snakes. And also in by Berry Farms, the housing project, which is, they tore it down, thank God. There are a lot of snakes and crayfish and frogs right along 295 and right down by Anacostia River. You pick up some rocks and you see a bunch of little snakes. And once I caught my first snake, it didn't bite me. I just got hooked. I just was so fascinated.
Okay, so how you know that the snake wasn't poisonous? I mean...
Well, the reason I knew they weren't poison is because I used to watch.
You were studying it.
I watched all the stuff that came on TV, and back then they had Wild America by Marty Stauffer. They had Jack Hanna. They had, and a couple other shows that mainly came on PBS. So I would watch these shows, and I knew that there was not a many poisonous snakes in the United States. There's only like 4 different types of poisonous snakes in the U.S. And so, I was just a little different. I just found that I would bring the snakes home, then tell my mom, that was interesting in itself. And I would put it in a jar and try to keep them alive. Most of the time it didn't work out, so we would let them go.
You could not be my child.
Man, my mom is still mad at me for one of the snakes.
So when did she first realize that you were sneaking these snakes in the house?
Well, she would see me outside with snakes, but she didn't know I was bringing them in. But this particular snake, I kind of conned my dad. I would go to the pet store all the time, like Dr. Pet, or there was a pet store in Landover Mall. And I saw this, and it was a pet store out in New Carrollton in Maryland. And they had this little teeny blotch snake, and it was like $5.99, and it was this big. And I'm like, Dad, come on, man, can I get that snake? Man, you always begging, please, Dad, man, I make my grades stay up. He bought it for me, but I didn't tell him that it was a rat snake and that they could get up to 8 feet. Anyway, he was like, all right, just make sure you stay on it. But unfortunately, B10, 11, I didn't put the top of the cage on properly, and he got out. And my dad said, what happened? I said, Dad, I don't know. He said, we can't tell your mom. So the next day, my neighbor found the snake outside. I don't know how it got out. But we didn't tell my mom until probably weeks afterwards, and she was very, very upset. So needless to say, there were no more snakes in my household, at least when I was living with my mom. But she was cool with turtles and lizards and all that type of stuff.
Okay, so you watching all these shows. Apparently, what you're talking about, looking at them, it kind of inspired you.
Yes.
So I'd like to know if you could do a show with your favorite, what do you call it, a wilderness person?
Biologist, naturalist,
biologist, any of that stuff. Whether they're still here alive or not alive, who would it be? Why would it be that person?
Well, one, my favorite, and unfortunately he's not alive anymore, it was Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. He got pierced by a ray when he was filming, and he died. And that kind of messed me up. But then another guy was a guy named Jeff Corwin. He had a show called The Experience. And I would watch these shows, but I know there was never any black people on them. And I'm like, I like snakes. I know my friends like snakes. I mean, I want to do that. But there was no mechanism for a little black kid in the inner city to get from A to B. I had no clue how to get from A to B. But definitely Jeff Coleman and Steve Irwin are probably my 2 favorites.
Okay, so describe what you think that this show would turn out to be like. What will y'all be doing? Where will you go? Well,
a couple things. I have to tell you this. The main reason we're doing this show, this is my main goal.
Okay.
If I can get a kid from the inner city, or for that matter, Appalachia or any poor part of the country, to dream outside of the box. If I can get a kid to want to go to school to be a biologist or a zoologist or a herpetologist, that's my goal. Although I didn't have any formal training, I did go to Howard, majored in TV, but I'm a self-taught herpetologist over years of studying these as a youth. So what I would like to do with the show is inspire kids So what we're going to be doing, we've done already actually. We just got back from the Everglades a few months ago, and we were down there hunting invasive Burmese pythons.
Is that when you got bit?
Yes.
Okay. The picture with the
blood,
and then stuff in your hand and stuff, and they're probably going to show it on the side somewhere. There. So is that the whole removing the
yeah? I still got a tooth
stuff?
stuck in there because he got me pretty good. It was an 8-foot male, but I know you're probably like, this dude is crazy.
I am. I said that from the start.
Well, the reason we're down in the Florida Everglades,
and I'm sorry, you said black people, but most black people don't do stuff like this. Okay,
but that's why I think it's great. It's different.
Okay,
we didn't have a black astronaut for a while.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you
First
got
black president.
You got a tooth in your You got a tooth in your finger. Go ahead.
So, a couple things. There's a problem down in South Florida, and it's getting worse. Down beneath Miami and Everglades, they have a huge problem with these invasive Burmese pythons. And let me give you the backstory. The reason these pythons are down there because in our early 90s, Hurricane Andrew came through Florida and destroyed a warehouse with a bunch of baby snakes or neonates. And they all got freed, and they were in the Everglades. And now those snakes are grown. And Burmese pythons, which is a domesticated version of an Indian python, which is rare or endangered, grow up to 20 feet, the females, and they lay 100 eggs or so. Now they're everywhere, and they're eating up everything in the Everglades. And now here's something that's really frightening. Wait for it. They're spreading, and they're almost up to Disneyland. So the state of Florida has opened up python hunting to people who want to come and sign up and get a license to remove these snakes. And in the first episode, that's what we're doing. We're removing.
How much you get paid for something like this?
Well, I had to get a little bit of a license to go do that, but I was working with my good buddy Mike Kimmel, who's a licensed trapper for the state of Florida. It varies. I think he told me a small one he can maybe get like $50, and the bigger ones maybe $250 or higher. But nothing goes to waste. They weigh the snake, they euthanize it. The meat goes to the meat is used. It's edible. They use the meat. They use the skin to make products like belts and wallets. But they're doing a service by removing these snakes because, let's be real, as soon as one of these big snakes get into the city and they take a small pet or a child, then we have some serious problems.
Yeah, so in that case, you could go and get all the snakes that you want to get. So this whole hip-hop naturalist, where did that idea come from? How did you come up with that name, and what is this really supposed to represent?
All right, now hip-hop, well, I grew up listening to hip-hop. I used to love Dougie Fresh, Big Daddy Kane, Kool Moe Dee, all the old school rappers.
Who's your favorite?
Out of all the old school rappers, I think out of the old school rappers, it's probably Dougie Fresh, Rakim, and maybe KRS-One. But there's so many. Don't make me choose.
Okay.
But more contemporary rappers, the older ones, like I like Nas. DMX is one of my favorites, and of course, gotta represent Tupac and Biggie.
All right. And you tied it into naturalism. How did that all come about? Or how you come up with the name?
Well, I like hip-hop, which is, the music we listen to. And naturalist is someone who loves nature. So it's not just about reptiles. I love all animals. And if things go right, we want to do more than just things with snakes. I'm like, all right, how can I reach these kids? I want to come up with a name that'll get these kids' attention. Hip-hop, boom. Okay, naturalist. Someone who listens to hip-hop that likes nature. So I put the hip-hop naturalist together, and then we got an interview with Dougie Fresh. And I want these kids, because the rappers is for the shock value.
How'd that happen?
A lot of hard work. My manager reached out to him, and we put some stuff on YouTube and Facebook, and it started to get legs, and people they were curious. So it took him a while to get back to us, but he thought the idea was great. Because basically the premise is, and I asked him, how did you become Dougie? What got you out of the hood? And he said, your story is similar to mine. I had a moment when I was probably 10, I used to go to the rec, and I realized that I liked the b-box. And my thing is, I like reptiles, I like hip hop. I thought if I put them together, it would be a great idea, and it's never been done before. I don't know of any guy that could talk about Tupac and Biggie, but also talk about reptiles.
Okay. So I like inspiration stuff. I know that you said it took a while. How long is actually a while? Because I like to make sure that people understand that when you get a no the first time, that doesn't mean it's always going to stay a no. So how long was this process to make this happen?
And that's paramount because I remember we talked about. It took me about a year and a half to get to this point. So about January would have been about exactly 2 years. And by trade, I went to Howard. Go HU. And I majored in radio, TV, and film. That's how the TV element came in. And I did politics for years. Mm-hmm. And I just decided it was time to get out of politics. I didn't like the way politics was going. And so I said, well, what can I do?
Can y'all take those pictures down on the side? It's blocking him a little bit. Anyway, go ahead.
So I said, well, what can I do to do TV and something with animals? And that's when I came up with the idea. But it took me from the concept was about last January. I started January 2018 with the idea. I borrowed some money on my retirement. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to be there to help my dad. He had a bad heart at the time. But thank God he's still with us. And I bought my own gear and I said, I want to do something different. And everyone initially was like, man, you crazy, man. You wasting your time and your money. I said, nah, this is a good idea. It's never been done. So I bought my own camera. I went down to the Everglades with my cousin. And I met these guys down there. And we started, they embraced me because I like animals too. Mm-hmm. And they said, man, this is a great idea. And they took me out with them and we became friends. The point is that I didn't take no for an answer. And I haven't made it there exactly yet. But I'm getting positive feedback, tremendous feedback. So my thing is, I think that you should follow your dream. If you want to be, I don't know, a rocket scientist. So what, there are not a lot of people that look like you doing it. You can be the first one to do it. Follow your dream. You know, there are people that will always have a job and work for people, and that's needed, and that's important. But then you also have people that dream, and we need dreamers. Because if it wasn't people that dreamt, like Dr. King, or even for that matter, Obama, we would never have had our black president.
That's right, President Obama there. Guys, remember, I didn't ask you to share. Hit the share buttons, invite. And if you have questions for the crazy man, call in on 301-429-9247 as well for the... I'm gonna keep calling you a crazy man.
It's all good. I am a little bit crazy.
It's all okay. So what do you and Dougie, since he decided to buy in and he said this was a great idea, when y'all put your heads together, what do we have going on?
Well, the one thing I like about Dougie Fresh is that he is genuine. You know, he cares about his community. You know, he's from Harlem. He knew the Central Park 5. And he was the quintessential person. He has a great story. He's from the Barbados. And the one thing that we said, because a lot of people didn't get back to us, but he said, Cav, I wanted to come on your show because I just thought it was authentic. And the one thing that we share in common is, look, if you can dream it, you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. You know, so that thing right there is what brought us together. And, you know, it's not just about fun. Of course, I enjoy catching snakes and alligators, but I'm doing it for a bigger purpose. I want to save those little kids that don't have hope. They give up at a young age. I mean, they know they're not wanted. Usually by the time they're 12 years old, the little girls and the little boys, they don't have dads, or the dad's dead or in jail. You can see the light in their eyes go away. And if I can get a kid to brighten up and have a goal or an ambition, even if it's just a turtle or a snake, then I feel that I'm accomplishing my goal.
So, how many children have you touched thus far?
Well, I went to St. Francis Xavier, and I spoke to the kids at Career Day, and you know, it's funny because they didn't want. We had a lawyer there, a police officer there. It was a bunch of people there that was successful, but they wanted to hang out with the animals. So I talked to maybe that particular day. They had a couple groups come by, maybe about 60 kids, and then I had over 2,000 or so views on YouTube. And for those that follow me on Facebook, so this is still, you know, in the development stage. It's still growing, but hopefully, if we can get this deal with Netflix, that'll take it to a whole nother level.
Miss Sonia Gentry, Abaloa said, that's awesome words that you gave. She's loving it.
Thank
if
you.
You can dream it, you can do it.
That's with anything.
She said, thank you so much.
Thank
Guys,
you for that.
Drop your comments in there. Okay, so
You want to see some pets? You want to see some critters? Well, you know, all right. True, full disclosure, I would never bring a big python in here. Most people are afraid of them. I mean, my wife, ain't happening. So basically what I brought today was something a little harmless. So first thing I brought was a box turtle. Now, this here,
Terry Gant said that you are so positive.
I gotta be, you know, growing up in Southeast, I got friends that's dead and in jail. Really don't fit death too much anymore. I think when it's your time, and I think it's important to do something positive with the little bit of time that we have remaining and make the world better for our children. Mm-hmm. So this one, well, she's a box turtle. This is an Asian box turtle, obviously from Asia. It's different from the American box turtle or the Eastern box turtle. There are 3 different box turtles in the U.S. By the way, if you ever see a box turtle, leave them alone or move it out of the street, but they're endangered. So kindly kind of let them be, and you can't collect them. But they're very popular. They used to be very popular pets. And this one, I should have brought the male. I brought the female because she's a little bit more docile. But she's doing exactly what I don't want her to do. She doesn't want to open up. So what we'll do is we'll just sit her here. She doesn't roam much. But this is a nice pet. This is based on a scientific name. We call it in the pet industry an ambro. And she just leaked a little bit of liquids out on the table.
Did she just pee on the table?
She did, but you know what I will say?
The turtle just peed on the table.
That's a defense mechanism. Most reptiles, when we're grabbing them in Florida, those pythons, they pee on you, poop on you, bite you, and try to constrict you.
So she being defensive, so that means
she's doing that because she wants me to put it down, and she's afraid. So she peed a little bit. They kind of
Can we get some napkins, some Kleenex, some paper
like, dude,
towels?
like put me down. So look, this is what we'll do. We're gonna leave her there. We'll clean this up, and maybe once she becomes a little bit more comfortable, she'll open up.
Okay, so how do you know that if a turtle is a male or female?
Okay, couple things. Males have a longer tail, and I'm sorry she's not cooperating. In fact, you know what? Let me put her back. I don't know why. She's just. Male turtles have a long tail, and they use it to mount the female. And typically they have longer claws.
Okay.
And they use that to embrace the female.
We got turtle feet.
So that's typically how you can tell. And in some species,
Put it back up. You want to see the turtle?
Oh, we got napkins now. She's a box turtle, so she's in her box. I lost my train of thought. So that's funny.
They got longer tails and they mount the female.
Right, and in some cases, the males and females are different colors. Ironically, a lot of the males are, in nature are brightly colored. And females tend to be the drab-looking ones. It's because the males have to attract the mates. And if the female don't want to be bothered, that's it. It's over with. So she has her choice of who she wants to mate with.
Okay. Right. All right, and how do you know how old they are and all this other good stuff?
Well, ironically, it's hard to... On turtles, you can age them if you are into it. We're looking at the carapace, which is the top of the shell. And you can look at the scutes, and you can look and get and kind of get a metric of how old they are. But it's really difficult, and I'm not there yet. But I will say that turtles are some of the longest-lived reptiles. Turtles can live easily 150 years. So you have some turtles that's been around since, like, pre-Civil War area that's still living. And that's kind of interesting.
It is kind of interesting. And you know what? With that, maybe she'll get a little bit more comfortable. We're going to go ahead and we're going to break to a quick commercial right now, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.
I don't know what happened there. They do that sometimes. It's all good. Yeah, normally she's out moving around, but I guess she just don't want to be bothered, so.
I swear it's Facebook messing around because I'm not seeing the comments.
You think Facebook is censoring us?
Because I see a little bit on one of my watch parties, but yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sorry that they're doing that, man. They shouldn't do that. So the main thing is, I just want to make sure I'm trying to reach these kids, man. It's like I'm trying to present myself as like the Tupac of wildlife.
Well, hold that. You got to hold that for the interview. What's her? I didn't ask what her name was. Was she out earlier?
She was out earlier. This is Yang. There are two of them. They're identical, Yin and Yang. I left Yin at home because he's too hyper, and I just brought Yang, the female. And she's just kind of real. She's even like this when they're together. She's the real laid back one, and he's crawling all over her and jumping around. He would have been off the table by now. Oh, Facebook, you know.
Rakaya Ware, is that somebody you know?
I don't think so.
She said, "We see you, hey."
Okay.
I don't know who she is. She must see you.
Hey.
Well, we can't see. I'm about to say that we recognize her when we get there.
Hopefully some people, I hope people can see the show. I mean, I hope that, you know.
Well, that's why I wanted to share it on your page, because if they're on your page, they would see it too. But you don't have to stay in there.
How long before we back on?
Who knows? We only had like 2 minutes. But it's go ahead if you...
You want to try it on my phone?
Yeah, try to go to WBJR Entertainment. How much longer we got? Oh, are we on?
All right, Rookie, what you got for me tonight?
Multiple cases of drunk, drugged, distracted, and drowsy drivers picked up. Meet Andy Carmichael, age 25, drunk driver. Statement says he'd attended a friend's Halloween party after hours of drinking heavily. He left to get more drinks.
Book him.
Meet John Smith, aka Mr. Distracted. Statement reads, ran a stop sign, ran a red light, caused a crash.
Well, this guy needs to keep his head in the game.
Meet Jane Goodman.
Grandma?
Jane thought a few extra pills would be okay. She said she just wanted to sit pain-free before her daily dose of Jeopardy.
That ain't cool, Grandma. That ain't cool.
We have a suspect picked up for falling asleep at the wheel. Meet Charlie Knight, aka Drowsy the Clown. Statement reads...
Statement reads creepy as...
After a hard day's work, Charlie was exhausted and chose to get behind the wheel.
I hate clowns.
All right, what do you think, Chief?
Don't be like these idiots. Drive like you give a f***.
Well, guys, I told you to turn that video, turn that sound down. Okay, so guys, we're back, but we weren't really gone when we thought we were gone, but we're back for real now. It's okay. And all kind of technical difficulties. The turtle pen on the table, the volume up on the thing. This is fun.
Yeah.
So, but you were getting ready to talk about, well,
don't worry.
I told you,
She's not gonna hurt you.
It's okay. She just freaked me out a little bit. She's starting to come out.
These are actually great pets for
Lord
children.
have mercy,
Turtles will make great
hallelujah.
pets. The thing about turtles is you can't buy them smaller than 4 inches. Because what happened, like in the 80s, a lot of people had pet turtles and kids would put their fingers in their mouths. And it created like a salmonella outbreak. So bigger turtles or box turtles, they make great pets if you have somebody to supervise you. But you can let her run around the house. I made her go back in. But she's relaxing, so we're going to let her relax.
Okay. All right. So again, you were during what we thought was a commercial break. You started to talk about why this is your passion for this. I said, say that till we get back on the air. Just said, no, we were on the air, so I should have just let you talk. But go ahead and talk more about this.
Well, I mean, I want to be like the Tupac of wildlife, and I use his name because he's popular, and he represents, quintessential what the problems are in the inner city. Mm-hmm. And so I want to take two different genres. I want to take the hip hop world and I want to merge it with wildlife so I can captivate kids. Even if I can get them to like just dream to be in the Serengeti, or we may be in Namibia or the rainforest in Brazil. But I want to draw them in with the artists, and I also want to captivate them by showing them how wonderful nature is. And another thing that's very important, we have to take care of our environment. If we don't take care of our environment, in fact, when there are problems with an environment, actually reptiles and amphibians are a lot of times the first ones to die off, especially amphibians, because they're real sensitive to chemicals and pollution. If we don't take care of our environment for the animals, then it's not going to be around for us. And we want the world to be nice for our children. So that's why I came up with the Tupac and the wildlife, Tupac of wildlife. I just want to bring two worlds together. Like you said, everybody think I'm crazy because you don't see too many people. I don't know what I was thinking when I got bit that night. But, the adrenaline was going and I really wasn't thinking about it. I was just kind of in my zone.
Yeah, unfortunately, the video that I don't know, might have showed that it was like a big snake and he was about to wrap himself around your ankle and you was kicking him around or something.
I'm trying to not get bit.
Trying not to get bit by kicking him.
Well, you can find that on YouTube. You could just go to the YouTube page, just type in Hip Hop Naturalist, and it'll go right to YouTube. And if you want to, get in contact with me, you can go to hiphopnaturalist.com. But some of the videos I have are on YouTube. We got new stuff that we just shot a few months ago. We're in the post-production part of it, and the shows are pretty much done. And, we're hopefully, maybe Netflix will pick us up, but I'm getting a lot of positive feedback.
Okay, now look, the emails to contact them too. I guess if you want to book them to come out to, you probably do go to schools and things of that nature.
If you want to book me to come to schools, you can go to my webpage. It's hiphopnaturalist.com, and my managers is hiphopnaturalistmanager@gmail.com, and all that information is on my webpage. Reach out to us. We'll get back to you in a timely manner because it's really all about the kids.
And it's under his name too on the screen too, guys. If y'all didn't get that, the spelling and everything is on there. So, okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
She's not going to hurt you. I'm
just saying, she just, when I look over, all of a sudden, she just got her hair sticking out.
Well, you know what she's doing? She's looking out to see if it's safe. It's okay. She's looking out to see if it's safe to come out. Box turtles, this is her protection. You can't eat her. She can roll, and as soon as things are fine, then she'll get back up. So she's quite nervous. So she's just kind of hot.
Well, I'm quite nervous,
too. She won't.
And I'm not as nervous, but I'm more nervous about this daggone snake down here.
Well. Okay. Do you want me to put her up?
No. Right. Just leave her there.
Yeah, she's good. She's just taking in the interview.
So you said you don't just take in reptiles and stuff, but for you, besides being bit and getting still having a tooth in your fingers, what would you say was your most adventurous trip that you went on? Oh, and before I got to that, you just went on down to Florida, hooked up with some brothers, and went out. Well, is there some kind of training or something goes with this? I mean, how does this end?
All right, look, let me say this. First of all, don't ever try to do this on your own. In fact, the guys that I was down there with are professionals. A lot of guys, they have license to, remove these snakes. Now, what I will say is, I make it seem easy because I've been dealing with reptiles since I was little. I used to own a pet shop. So I have just the kind of natural ability to deal with reptiles. But I mean, I like dogs, birds, everything. I mean, we want to do more than just reptiles. But my specialty is, I'll say herptiles, because herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians, frogs, snapping turtles, alligators, all that stuff. But I think you asked me one of the more exciting things that I've done.
What would you consider as your most exciting adventure?
When I jumped on the back of a 10-foot alligator.
And what made you do that?
Because I always wanted to hunt an alligator. And, you know, they're prehistoric. They've been around since the dinosaurs. They are beautiful. And they were almost extinct in the 60s. But they were on the city's endangered species list. And now they are brought back to nuisance category where there are almost 500,000 alligators in Florida. But it's a good thing because we pretty much eradicated them. Like we kind of eradicated the buffalo. And I think we need to, we don't want these animals to go extinct. We want them to be around for future generations. And they do serve a purpose. They serve a purpose. They eat dead animals, which is called carrion. I mean, they help, with the environment, as far as building up nests and mounds in the Everglades. And that has a big effect on other animals. Mm-hmm. The ecology or the ecosystem is like a big puzzle. And when one part is missing, it affects other animals. So we want them injected back. We want them in the environment, which is the reason why we're down there hunting pythons. These pythons are eating up everything. They're eating alligators. And the original premise of the show was to see who was the top 2 predators. And from the research that we've done, unfortunately, the pythons are winning. They grow too fast. In 2 years, a neonate, which is a baby snake, they're like 24 inches.
I'm with you, Sharon. Sharon said it's not her cup of tea. And somebody by the name of Matthew McClam said, "Hey, Dad, you're awesome."
Hey, that's my son. Give a shout out to my son. He's my resident techie guy. He helped me with all my tech stuff.
And remember, if you want to call in anyone, it's 301-429-9247. Okay.
So that's the reason why we're down there catching them, because they are creating a problem.
All right. So,
So she's still kind of hiding a little bit. So.
Okay. So these young men that are in the street, besides taking the bioscientist, is that what this is? Biologist method to them. What else are you trying to communicate to them? Well, do you have an that you mentor?
Pardon me?
Do you have some that you actually mentor boys?
We haven't started that yet. Like I said, my first engagement with kids was at the St. Francis Xavier School.
Right.
But my manager is currently trying to get us a contract down in Miami-Dade County to go to like the inner city schools in Florida. And if we can work that out, it's a lot of red tape. If we can work that out, I like to bring some rappers in. Like Tupac, not Tupac, obviously not him, but like Luke Skywalker.
I was about to say, okay now.
No, we can't bring him back, and I don't do holograms.
Okay, we got a call. Calls come in first. Hanging with your girl Tasha, who's calling, and where are you calling from?
This is Kiva McClam, cousin of Kevin, calling from Maryland.
Hey, cuz, good to meet you. That's my cousin. He's a playwright.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad you could call in.
All right, so I'm on live right now.
You're on live. What you want to say?
So look, Tasha, you gotta ask him about him going down to the Everglades and chasing after pythons.
Okay, he was starting to talk a little. She's moving her head up and down. This is the first time that I didn't get scared of her coming out.
She's a little bit afraid of a box turtle, but he's good.
So tell me, do you play with snakes and stuff too?
You know what? I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, but I don't think I probably play close to anything as crazy as lizards. And
they got them down there.
Can't really mess with anything else.
Iguanas are down there. That's another problem. They're everywhere down there.
Yeah, iguanas are taking over. But yesterday, cause I was thinking about you when I was at the Great Falls, I was hiking, and
copperheads out there. Stay off the rocks.
But snakes out there.
Yes, they are.
Can y'all zoom in on her?
Venomous snakes out there. Be careful. Stay off the rocks. They have copperheads in Upper Marlboro.
You scared her.
Wow.
You scared her. Okay, thank you so much. So I'm gonna talk to him. He was talking about these pythons already.
All right, I'll take care.
All
Thanks,
right, thank
Kiva.
you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, again, so for those that might have missed the initial thing, they like, dude, what is up with you in the Everglades? Well, one, again, I like snakes, and the theme of my show is, instead of hanging out in the streets with those snakes, I was catching snakes. So welcome to my world of hip hop naturalist. The reason we've been going down to the Everglades is because, like I was telling you, there's a problem. They have thousands of snakes. They breed. profusely. They can have 100 eggs in one sitting, and they're spreading northward. Then they're now up near North Florida. And that's a problem because you have Disney World Resort, you have MGM Universal, and if you have a snake maybe take someone's pet or attack a child, then we got some serious problems. And if you don't, you may remember a few years ago, a little girl or little boy, I think, a little child was snatched and pulled into the water on a Disney resort. And unfortunately, the child died. So we don't necessarily want to kill these snakes, but we're trying to protect the Florida ecosystem. And besides, you know, if you got like a small pet, trust me, you don't want a 20-foot snake showing up in your backyard.
Okay, guys, so, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so your other friend that you brought in the studio is?
All right, I got another friend. This is,
Guys, I am not seeing your comments.
This is a royal python, okay? Which is, a common name for this is the ball python. You can find them in most pet stores. They're very docile, which is gentle. Now, I think my host is getting up from the table, so I don't want to frighten her too much. This is a banana ball python, and it's called that because of the particular morph. If you look at it, it looks like a banana. You know how you like a day-old banana? Mm-hmm. And that's why this is called the banana ball python. And I see she's even coming alive. Good. So she's harmless. These snakes are from Africa. They normally average between 3 and 6 feet. You hardly ever see a big 6-footer. But again, like most snakes, this particular snake, in the pythons, the females get larger. So the males actually average like 3 feet, 4 feet. The females get larger. Pythons lay eggs. And the reason this is called royal, is I did some research in Africa. A lot of the ancient kings would wear these around their neck like jewelry. And so they picked up the local term, the royal python. So you would have them wearing it around their neck. I'm going to put her on around my neck, and see, she just chilled. And this is not bad at all. She's a little cold.
She's licking her tongue out.
The tongue is called the Jacobson's organ. And what they do is they pick up scent particles in the air to see if there's prey around. So their tongue is actually more sensitive than their sight and their hearing. So that's like the most powerful organ that they have. They can sense prey in the air. They can sense danger. But the tongue doesn't sting. It's just a way for them to kind of smell. And it's called the Jacobson's organ.
She's going around your neck.
Is that freaking you out? Okay. I'll just kind of let her hang out with me on my arm.
Okay. All right. So how long have you had her? And what's her name again?
Her name is Candace.
Candace.
I had her
Candace.
I had her probably for about several years now. Probably about maybe 4 or 5 years. These are, and you know, I don't feed her like every week. Some people try to feed their animals and make them grow. You know, I feed her maybe twice a month. A small mouse, a pre-killed small mouse. And what I will say about these are the longest living snakes. You know, there's a record for the ball python in the Philadelphia Zoo. And that snake lived to be 47 years old. It's ironic considering that she can live to be 100.
Okay.
47 years old. So, long life.
So do they like each other?
Well, I don't have them in the same cage, obviously. But it's probably not a good idea to mix species. Now, this is not prey for her. You know, he's a mammal. He likes mammals. And reptiles are cold-blooded. And what that means is, you know how we naturally warm-blooded play? Like, we're warm-blooded people. Humans are warm-blooded, like, you know, dogs and mammals, you know, cows. We don't need the sun to keep us warm. We have internal warmth that comes from the way we're made. These animals, they do what it's called thermoregulation. In other words, when they're cold and he's quite chilly right now, he'll go into the sun on a warm rock or log in the nature. if he's in your cage or you have him at home, we have what we call a heat lamp. They'll go underneath the heat lamp. They'll warm up a little bit until they get to optimum body temperature, and then they'll go to a cool part of the cage to cool down. So cold-blooded animals, reptiles and amphibians, they need external heat sources. And then in the wintertime, some species, well, not this one, they have the rainy season in Africa, and in Asia they have a rainy season. But some parts of the country, of the world, where it gets really cold, they go into a kind of hibernation state. Well, they'll go into the ground. Depending on the species, you might find a bunch of rattlesnakes or garter snakes kind of hibernating if the temperature drops below 55, and then they come back alive in the spring.
Okay.
So she's looking around. She's not going to go anywhere. She's very nice.
It made a noise when she went back in.
She's shy.
Oh, you scared her.
Yeah, she's shy. Now, you want to touch her?
So the reality show,
Right?
You said
the hip hop Naturalist.
It's going to start when, airing?
Well,
or you're trying to find somebody to pick it up?
We're in communication right now with Netflix. In fact, I got to make a phone call or two when I'm done, and we're looking at some other options. So we're hoping that we can maybe get it up on the air in January of next year, which would be about exactly 2 years that we've been doing this whole thing. And also, we're thinking about doing something different where we might just have a show separate where it's just conversations with the hip hop naturalist. Because the Dougie Fresh interview was over an hour. And we got stuff that probably make the news. And I think we want to run that on separate tracks.
So I saw a video that had Dougie, but was this Stevie Wonder had something going on with
that
it
was
as well?
that was something they had out when they christened a street after Obama or something. Mm-hmm. And Stevie Wonder was there doing the dedication, and I think Dougie just started beatboxing to one of his songs.
Okay, so I don't know. I figure I need your comments to calm my nerves down, but I'm not seeing any of your comments at all coming up on Facebook. So, I'm just kind of irritated, but that's all right.
That's all right.
So you said that she's cold.
And she's a little chilly. And the reason she's moving around like that is because that's what she does. She's curious. But she's not in any way exhibiting threatening behavior.
Hallelujah. Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington, D.C., and my name is McClam, and I just wanted to know, how are they as pets?
My daughter.
Do you like them?
Did she hang up?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, she wants to know about them as pets. How do you determine what type of snake you should have as a pet?
And it's ironic she brought that up because we just had a young lady we were talking to before we came into the studio, and she said she loves snakes. Couple things. First, what I would recommend is do your research. That's with anything. If you're going to get a puppy, do your research and find out exactly what's good for you. Now, there are a few snakes that's probably good beginner pets, and then there are some that you obviously don't want. If this is your first snake, you obviously don't want a boa constrictor because they can get, 10 feet plus. Some of them can be a little bit aggressive. But if you want maybe a first beginner snake, I recommend something like a garter snake or a ribbon snake. You can find them at like Petco and PetSmart. They're great snakes, and those stores come with a cheat sheet, if you will, to tell you the requirements that you need, what they eat, and there's a check off to see if this is the type of pet for you. But I would recommend something small like, a corn snake, a garter snake, or a ball python. And you may not want this one because this one is expensive because of the morph. But ball pythons actually run about $60 or so. And you go to a reptile show, you can probably find them cheaper. But they're fascinating pets. They don't need much maintenance. You just feed them like maybe once or twice a month, clean the cage, make sure they got a heat lamp, a hiding place, and fresh water. And you could probably go on vacation for a week and not even have to worry about it.
Thank you, love. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How old is your babies? Talk about your baby. Did you talk about the kids? How many kids you have?
I got 4 kids. I got a 22-year-old son, a 20-year-old son, 15-year-old son, and a 13-year-old daughter. And they're very supportive. My wife thought that I was nuts. But over the years, she's kind of learned to love animals. Now, she ain't going to hold it, but she won't freak out.
I'm with your wife. Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Athens, Georgia, and this is a KP.
Hi, KP. How are you?
What's up,
I'm
Keith?
fine.
She's going to fall off the things.
See, she's relaxed now.
Okay,
Yeah.
she relaxed. I don't want her to fall
No,
off
I'm
of
not
it.
going to let her fall.
Okay, KP, what do you have for Mr. Hip Hop Naturalist?
Well, I really like what he does and all that stuff. So what I want to find out from him is, what was it like being down there in the Everglades?
Well, it was the adrenaline was great. It was a lot of fun. You know, when we caught that 8-foot python, you know, every time I go to pick up a wild snake, part of my mind is like, dude, what are you doing? You were freaking nuts. But then it's like I get in my mode and I turn back into the little boy that used to catch snakes when I was little, because catching snakes is all the same. Little ones are harder to catch actually than the bigger ones. You may just need more help. But it was fun because it was like a lifelong dream. And again, you don't see many black people doing this. But again, and that's when I got bit, obviously, but you can still see the tooth mark. I got most of them out, you know, so it'll eventually come out. But again, the point is, you don't see many people doing this that look like us. If you can dream it, you can do it. If you want to be a doctor, you can do it. I don't care about your background. I don't care if you live in a projects or you live in a trailer park. If you can dream it, you can do it. But the one thing I will say, you got to stay out. Stop following the groups, the crowds on the street. Look, when I grew up in Southeast, everyone was like, dude, you freaking weird, man. There you go, catching snakes. But then when I noticed, I would have another buddy, hey, Kevin, man, come on, I want to go with you. Then another buddy, hey, man, can I go with you? Or we going to go up to the Smithsonian Zoo this weekend. Can I go? So it was always like this little tension, the cool, smooth dudes on the corner. It's like, man, we don't do that. You know, we smooth, we got the feline on or whatever. I have feline stuff too, but who cares? You got to find something you like. And, you know, a lot of times people don't want you to do something different often because they don't have something different. And a lot of times people don't want you to do something different because they don't have any ideas. So never take no for an answer. If you come up with a good idea, the door may not open right away, but just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And I believe that you can make it and you'll be successful.
My nerves are shot in here. Okay. All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. So you want to touch her? Let's start out. I'll tell you what.
She moving so much.
It's just because I'm holding her. But I'll let you touch her. You can touch her. I'll keep her. I got you. She won't hurt you. I promise you. She won't hurt you. How's it feel?
I haven't touched her yet.
Feels like a cold leather purse. See?
Okay.
It's like a leather purse.
Well, come on in, big brother. I don't care. Come on around this way, you all. You can touch her. You can hold her.
Now, I'm sure you like Coach bags.
Okay.
Or it's like a cold.
I don't know what kind of my peg right there.
Yeah, let's take her. Oh, she's so soft. I got her.
And she's just moving around. But what you want to do is you want to support her body weight. Okay. She's small.
This is Mr. Durrell. He's behind the scenes here at WBGR, guys.
Supporting her body weight is a little bit different when we have big snakes. Okay. Like we would often have the big thing kind of hanging off our shoulders. And we're talking a whole nother level of expertise when you're talking about a 12-foot snake.
Okay. She's starting to
freak you out?
Nah, she's just sliding a little bit.
I thought you said you were scared of snakes.
Oh, she wasn't bad at all, man. She's cool.
I like the small ones. I don't like the big ones.
Well, I will say this. I pick her up, and she's kind of tame.
Yeah.
So she's not going to act like a snake would in the wild.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have the...
Oh.
She
didn't like that.
She never likes...
So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's not for everybody.
My pocketbook is made of some kind of...
leather. Some type of... You ever seen people with crocodile shoes and snakeskin belts? Give her about 5 seconds, and then I'll come get her from you. But if you don't, you don't have to. But let Tasha hold this snake so she can say, I did it. I know you can do it. I believe in you, Tasha.
Oh, shucks. I'm about to cuss on air.
Don't do that. I got you. I wouldn't put you in any harm's danger. Just hold her lightly. I tell you what, open your palms up. All right. Open your palms. Don't worry about that. No, you're fine. You're fine. All right. It's not going to bother you. I promise you.
Turn.
All right. I'll hold the head, and I'll let you hold the body. How's that? I got the head. I got the head. I got the head. All right, I got the head. And we don't want to agitate her too much. I got the head.
Okay, don't
she's
agitate
fine.
her.
No, she's fine. She's fine. She's not going to hurt you. I got it. There you go. Just 2 hands real quick, then you can let it go. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tasha.
She's coming off. She's going to fall.
She's, look. She's got it. She's holding it. Proud. I'm proud of you. All right. Now, I'm going to give her credit because it took a lot of guts to do that because not everybody likes snakes. And she held it. Y'all saw it. So I just thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh, my God. Okay. Right. So what's the future of the show besides waiting for these people to do it?
Well, you
got to do something in between. You can't just be waiting
for... Well, what we're doing in between is we're going to go to these schools and we're going to be speaking down in Florida. We're going to go to various schools and talk to the children. I'm going to get in contact with my friends down there, and I want to give a shout out to Jack Shirley and Mike Kimmel. I couldn't have done it without you guys, man. Love you guys. And we're going to go down there and talk to children, and then we'll bring animals to school.
What about up here? Why is the focus on in Florida?
Well, that's because that's where the big animals are. We are going to do things up here, too. We just hadn't reached out to all the schools yet. So I'm going to probably do a few more Catholic schools, but we will be going to various schools in D.C. and around the country. And we'll have different animals. Like in Florida, I can't really travel with boa constrictors and all of that. It's not that easy. So the animals that we'll be showing, I'll probably get from some of my colleagues.
What about camps?
We hadn't thought about that, but that's a novice idea. Primarily where we are now is with funding is an issue. We funded this ourselves, and we need funding because it takes a lot of money to work on these shows. So if we can get the funding, we want to jump in this full throttle. I have some great ideas. We want to do Gila monsters, which is a lizard in Arizona. We want to do wolves in Yellowstone. We want to do desert tortoises. We're going to do a show on iguanas in Florida. So we're going to do more than just reptiles.
Okay, all right. We need like a Shark Tank non-profit type of show to help get people loans.
Right, so if you want to check me out, reach me. You can go to hiphopnaturalist.com. We appreciate it, and we will return your call.
Okay, all right. So, guys. Oh, Lord. Anyway.
I want to put this up for her.
That's just enough. Okay, so that's the last thing y'all got here. You got the email, hiphopnaturalist@gmail.com, www.hiphopnaturalist. And Mr. Kevin, thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you.
Did you share with them your history?
My history?
Besides, you said you did politics, but
I used to be a news cameraman. I worked at CNN, Fox News Channel. Been out Iraq and Afghanistan. Worked at the White House from Clinton through the current president. And I just decided that I wanted to follow my passion and live my dreams. Because life is short. You only get one shot.
There you go, guys. Life is short. You only get one shot. And that is a conclusion of Hanging with Your Girl Tasha. My nerves are shot.
Sorry.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Good job.
My nerves are shot, guys. See you next week on Monday, same time. You're going to learn about how to put some money in your pocket next week. Talk to y'all later.
Yo, what's up? Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Right. So, look, good job. You did a great job.
Lady who walks around without being shady, who knows her values, who's gone through trials. Her smiles are captured from mouth to mouth. It's not the size of her thighs she worries about, but the pride she thrives to keep that drive. The cinnamon twist.